MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Doing What Must Be Done.
The majestic crocodile. A reptile whose Latin order, Crocodilia, seems to be a Latinized Greek term, crocodilos, that means, I'm not an alligator, hits some books once in a while. The crocodile lives in water, on land and, very rarely, on air. The crocodile is famous for its purse, its shoes, and for being a master of birthday bashes that leave everybody really surprised.
Has the party started?
Shh! Shut up, Gerald. You're spoiling it. Does he suspect anything? No. Surprise! Whee! Let's go to the buffet. Yay! I'm hungry.
The crocodile also makes for a very good dinner companion, maybe not the way you think of.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. And holy cow, guys, we are now post triple digits into episode 101, like we were discussing Zoe. But we're not talking about Britney Spears' little sister who was impregnated by Dan Schneider at age 7. Today we are talking about a genre. What?
You can't say
Allegedly.
Why?
because it's not going to get us monetized.
Oh yeah, instead. Otherwise, we would have made a bunch of money.
I'll tell you what's not going to get monetized.
What?
Is so a couple weeks back, we delved into the off-discussed, off-maligned, off-fetishized sharksploitation genre, giving you guys a little snack, a toothy bite of what our favorite is with Shark Attack 3, Megalodon.
Megalodon.
Exactly. And today we are going to get into its cousin subgenre, the not as plentiful, not as beating this horse carcass to death genre of
Well,
crocs or gator exploitation. Either one. The public will never really understand the difference between the two of them.
It's the snout.
It's the snout. So we decided, let's dig in to the first ever use of a papier-mâché clock on film, 1936's It's Enrico Conasone's Killer Crocodile, made by a bunch of Italians who were desperate to bring home a bowl of pasta for 5 cents and were working with a complete lack of passion.
What are you talking about?
And we have casted John Hammond from Jurassic Park's gay younger brother,
That does it.
who's
Younger.
constantly leaking sweat. And
got plenty of ascots, though.
This craft is too big for this swamp.
we have a guy who is the pre-Jim Caviezel with the Jesus eyes from the same same type of vibe from the Yeti.
Yeah.
He's got those Jesus eyes, you know he does. And, you know, we did this instead of the sequel
out.
to Chupacabras.
Mort's got a purse.
It's very stylish. Good night, everybody.
MaJaMa.
We were going to do the sequel to the Chupacabra, so we said, let's not put ourselves through that.
Listen, you can't tell him this much backstory.
And then we did this instead, but I think Matthew was really tortured by it.
It wasn't even that bad, but the experience was god awful.
So what we're going to do is we're going to...
Mind-numbing, gut-wrenching, just a boat with, all you hear is a mutter, just...
Tell me about it.
That's 3/4 of the film. Assholes on a boat, puttering down a swamp
should
from
be
a
That was
the
the
distance.
original title.
It should be the
A
title.
little wordy, accurate. This reminds me of the pacing and environment of Zat. You're in a swamp and it's taking its time. Matthew, we're going to base the episode around you. You're going to tell us what the plot was, and then you're going to break down what it was like for you watching it, and then Matteo is going to intersperse some facts about the movie and the Italians that made it, and then I'm going to make a joke about Mark Wahlberg and 9/11 at some point. I haven't figured out what yet, but I'll use my improv skills as you're talking to surprise you.
Y'all need a pilot?
How is that the actual tagline in his new movie?
What are you talking about, boy?
Okay. Crocodile.
Killer crocodile.
Thank you. Killer Crocodile is about some ecologists.
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 Ecolala.
Who are in the swamp in
Santo Domingo.
Santo Domingo, not the United States.
Nope.
Looking for polluted water, and they find radioactive drums and start trying to figure out who's polluting the swamp. And they go to that fat guy, and they say, "Hey man, we know who you are." And he's like, "My name's Judge, but I thought he was a judge,
Yes.
but he's not. It's like Judge Reinhold, I guess."
Yeah.
Are you my judge?
And then they meet Texas Joe, who's an animal enthusiast and hunter.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's a problem on the swamp. And then there's Paul Newman / the host of Supermarket Sweep
It's really
wants-
the more masculine brother of the host of Supermarket Sweep.
with Paul Newman.
I'm
Special
leaning,
guest Paul Newman.
I'm leaning more
Look at his eyes and his hair.
just
Pornuman in the sauce or Pornuman?
Paul Newman in that movie where he's in jail. You know it. It's classic.
You're gonna get used to wearing them chains after a while, Luke. Don't you never stop listening to them clinking. 'Cause they're gonna remind you of what I've been saying. For your own good.
Wish you'd stop being so good to me, Captain.
we can probably say that Paul Newman was the most gorgeous man that ever lived.
No.
No, that would be Ernest Borgnine.
Who was also in the film as
Yes,
playing the
was-
role of
who was
Judge.
following the ass of the guy who was doing jogging and one time ran out.
Well, listen, Fenley. I'm going to follow you wherever you travel. You just remember that.
Those swishes. So either way, they want to do different things.
Well, they think that the ecologists at first think
That's not an ordinary crocodile. It's probably the only one of its kind. Maybe in these swamps a million years ago there were thousands of them. Don't you know how important this discovery is?
I don't know nothing.
at first that they want to preserve it, but then 6 or 7 of them die, so they say.
You still think the crocodile should be saved?
If I get the chance, I won't hesitate to kill him.
What's happened to us? We've changed.
Yes.
So they go out on the lake swamp, and Joe and Macklemore?
Yeah.
Joe gets chewed up by the croc as he jumps on top. Dude, this thing's like a log. This crocodile is like a log, man. And once again, it looks awesome. I mean, it looks stupid as hell, but it looks awesome design-wise when it's out of the water and it's chomping its mouth opening. But when it's just like, it looks just like someone just, okay, push it. And it just slowly knocks.
That's exactly what they did.
It just slowly drifts towards your boat.
It was this thing, this rigid thing that
Lui mi ha chiamato per fare il coccodrillo, diciamo la verità, no?
non avendo i mezzi poi per fare il coccodrillo, perché noi abbiamo fatto un coccodrillo che era una comica, perché era un pezzo e poi era mosso con delle tenaglione di ferro che americani si riporterebbero tutti nella tomba, no? E io ho cercato di fare il mio meglio, non c'erano nemmeno gli occhi, pensa, li ho dovuti dipingere gli occhi e comunque il muso nel suo insieme non è venuto nemmeno anche male, ecco. Cioè.
And then Joe's dumbass jumps on top of the crocodile.
Yep.
But the thing's just like, oh, okay, let's just chill. The crocodile's just chilling there. And he starts trying to stab through its
skull, I guess.
Yeah, and then he sinks down, and then Freddy has to go back and get different tools to try to kill it. And then Joe's alive, and he's like, hey, man, use the propeller, 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 use the propeller.
The propeller! Use the propeller, kid! Use the propeller! Try to meet him face to face! It's the only chance you got, kid! The propeller!
And then he throws the propeller off the boat into the crocodile's mouth, and blends his...
all that latex.
And then
and the crocodile catches on fire.
Yeah, explodes.
Joe! I did it, Joe! Yeah!
Yeah.
I mean, Jaws, I guess.
And
soundtrack kind of ripped.
Well, the plot also is
yeah.
very...
And then we're left with our stinger of a little baby crocodile hatching out of an egg.
Because simultaneously while they were shooting Killer Crocodile, they shot also Killer Crocodile 2.
Now this is also the end of Godzilla at 98 they ripped off.
Yes. It was, or Venom. Klaus Kinski, the Mamba's
Right,
eggs.
sorry, I thought you meant the Tom Hardy movie.
No. Well, Tom Hardy, I don't know. Well, he laid an egg.
Yeah, I got a parasite. It's not a good impression.
No. But virtually almost every movie had the idea of, except for actually surprisingly Jaws.
Fire, you son of a...
Jaws, the shark dies and dies.
Yeah.
And that's it. There is no...
Brokeback Mountain. There's that pile of jizz they zoom into.
Yes, and
then a little...
and
like, cowboys start reaching
yes,
up out
comes
of it.
out.
You gotta be kidding.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
This was.
Well, it's interesting because we turned down the Chupacabra sequel, and Chupacabra was genuinely rough. And then there is a difference.
We watched the trailer for Chupacabra 2, Bloodshed of Horror.
Yeah, Bloodshed 2.
New season,
The
start
Revenge
running.
of Something.
This was better than Chupacabra, but I was with it, but then it got a little rough. I feel like at a certain point, I was pretty with it.
I think after the first 37 minutes.
Is that so?
It's just they install a half hour of just people on a boat, and they're
Yes.
just going back and forth to this little hut, and I just wanted to die.
Well, it brings me up again to the...
Yeah, which was actually the page of the script, page 37. It just says, then they go on a boat, and I just want to die.
I ain't never seen anything like it.
What is the perfect creature ratio, you know? This is a decent one. It's
No,
sometimes it's static.
no, you idiot, no.
It could be worse.
It could be better.
Yeah, something like that.
You get a decent amount of shots of the croc popping out.
I mean, you get plenty of shots of monsters doing things in other movies, too. My only defense for this film is that the crocodile is a pretty cool design.
Yeah. the stupidest attempt to save a little
Yeah,
girl
what?
ever.
So
Why did he just end up hanging next to her?
So she's playing on the dock, drops her doll, and then
the crocodile eats the doll, scares the kid,
Yeah.
and bites a part of the
dock.
pier, which is, the dock.
So part of it breaks off. She slides down, holding on to it. And I don't know if it's her dad, but some dude comes up and is like, "Oh, instead of picking up this lightweight 30-pound child, just lifting her up by one hand,
lower myself down.
I'm gonna slide down this already precarious ledge, dunking into the lake where there's a giant crocodile right there, and try to push her up."
Yes.
Use the leverage of that.
Something like that. And then, I get caught into the crocodile. Then another guy arrives, and there is a hole into the dock,
That was
and
pretty cool.
his leg goes down, and so does he. And then
The crocodile pulls him through the hole.
Yeah, the three protagonists dive into the water, swim by the side of the crocodile, grab a piece of wood, jam it into the mouth of the crocodile.
It's like paper mache.
Yes, and it's the most absurd because the dock is in one piece except for the end, so there is nothing that prevents them to reach the little girl.
Yeah.
And so it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Oh, that's great.
The only one, the one shot that Jason likes is the hand, the hand of the woman being dragged from underwater.
That was pretty cool.
At the beginning.
Yeah, that song was rough though.
Come on, Lauren, just sit down and listen.
Yes. It reminded me of one scene which we may or may not use, depending on the algorithm, from Tentacles, where a woman wakes up into a cave, a watery cave, and looks around, and her partner is gone, and then all of a sudden his legs and start to move on a sideways, and then he vanishes.
You can swim like that?
Probably not. I think they were suggesting that the octopus had.
Here is a question.
Go.
No, thank you.
Where is this on our Croc Gator movie timeline? It's got to be one of the first.
No.
This is 1989. We've had already Alligator, which is 1980. And I believe a movie that here is known as Giant Crocodile, which in Italian was Il fiume del grande caimano, which means the river of the big caiman.
Wow. Oh, Cayman.
Cayman, sorry. Those are, as far as I know, the not exclusive crocodile featuring movies, but these are movies where the monster is a crocodile.
Come on, give me a break, will you?
There's been a lot of
So
other...
Alligator's the first?
I think it probably is.
Wrong!
I can't think of anything, any other...
When were crocodiles invented?
Crocodiles were invented in 1954.
Oh, so it's pretty... Okay, so not too far off.
Yes. There was Cornelius T. Jacobs, I think, in Germany. He built the first crocodile. And then he went to a swamp and said, "This looks like a nice place to have them." And whoops!
Legend had it right after he did it, he farted.
Yeah.
Right? That was the part of it.
Yeah.
Was the whoops dropping the alligator? Or
It was
fart?
yes. He had colorophobia, which is the fear of clowns, and is famous the song "The Tears of a Clown." Hence, he said, "Hey, I will put the tears in the crocodile, so it will become famous for."
That's what the saying comes from.
Yep.
He engineered it.
Yep.
Huh.
Just.
Doesn't make much sense.
No.
No.
You know the way things start.
So this was made in 1986 in
89.
a village in Italy. The croc was constructed entirely out of
Marzipan.
And every day the crew members would have some fun eating it at the end of the shoot.
Yes.
Before they realized it had been soaking in swamp water all day. Marzipan absorbs swamp water very quickly.
Because they saw Fantasia by Disney, where there were the crocodiles dancing with the hippos. And also hippos are among the most vicious animals on Earth. So they were saying, but killer hippo doesn't have the same bite.
Surprised they haven't. No, they've done it.
There is a sequence in the movie Congo.
Yeah, Congo, I know.
Oh my God!
With what, the Michael Crichton novel?
Yes. But
hey kids, you want some Congo action figures?
And an actual movie with where the killer is a hippo. I don't think they made it.
Okay.
They made the Executive Koala.
ですから韓国の最高級キムチメーカーペイノーさんと提携することでラブルスのシェア奪回にもつながるものと私は考えております。
We watched that.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. What are we doing?
I don't know nothing.
So Matthew, what did you think of this movie?
I very clearly and blatantly expressed my feelings about it.
He loves the boat.
My God.
It's terrible?
Their boat sucked. I mean, I don't know. It's compared to some of the stuff we watch, it's not terrible. It's just this experience as a whole was just arduous, painful.
The thing about these movies that you guys haven't lived through when it was happening is that after Jaws, and to a degree after Jaws 2, which solidified the fact that they say, oh, movies with a monster as a protagonist are back. We can actually do it, they're sustainable. So there was a race of making all the monster movies possible. And they were running out of monsters from the ocean because there was Jaws, they did a gajillion of sharks.
Orca.
They did Orca, they did the tentacles, they did the piranha.
Unusually large seahorse?
Not yet.
Oh.
Barracuda. And then they did, Barracuda is terrible. They did Grizzly, which was also known as Jaws with Claws, which has been the most profitable independently produced movie from 1976 to 1978, and then Halloween came about and took the crown.
That does it. I'm gonna have you all arrested.
So there was this race of doing, let's make movies with a bunch of people fighting a big creature. Possibly a creature that is easy to make and to maneuver, because with tentacles they did build a huge octopus that did not work at all, so they used the real octopuses or whatever.
Octopi is correct.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because
I don't
think that is. I think that octopus is from Greek and not from Latin.
What are you talking about?
Apparently, octopi, which I thought my whole life was correct, is probably not.
Yeah. Let's take a diversion and talk about the plural, the correct plural. Cactus is cacti. Octopus is octopuses.
What are you talking about?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
We gotta get this tub back to shore.
No!
Listen, let's talk about
That guy, John Hammond's brother.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Let's talk about Judge.
Van Johnson, one
Van
of the greatest
Johnson.
actors from.
Oh, that's Van Johnson?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Why was he named Van?
His brother was named Carr.
Because he was living by the river.
Okay.
Hey, nice.
He was a great actor from the 50s and the 60s.
What happened?
Like almost a lot of great actors from the 60s and the 50s, they then moved to Europe to be cameos in movies like this, doing a vacation, getting a lot of money, and then going back home.
Oh.
How about you? I like a Gershwin too.
Gershwin?
How about you?
I don't know how to sing them.
I like a fireside when the storm is due.
Who's going after the ashes, you?
And rumor has it that they did not have enough budget for wardrobes, so there were some stretched out tank tops left over from an 80s boater comedy in a wet t-shirt scene that they had
Dude, that thing
Judge
is
put them on.
stretched so tight, it's just translucent. You can see his titties
It's not even
popping
that,
out.
it's the low scoop.
It's a Leah.
Like the low.
Not to mention the
low.
all-white uniform with the hat and also the little white
In
prissy
his
ascot.
defense, he is very attractive.
That's the saving grace, yes.
Yes.
God, and there's just a puddle of sweat in the morgue. There's all just pouring off of him onto the floor. Everyone's getting it soaked into their shoes. It's disgusting. Not to mention the smell of the dead body. Plus, there's baby octopuses all over the table right next to them. That room must reek with the heat. And he's just fanning himself the entire time because you know he's dying there. It must have been a hellish shoot for that man.
Don't worry, relax.
Oh God, all I smell is this octopusy stink.
It takes a special breed to make it in there.
So yes, he was the superstar of the movie, the one for thanks to which basically they got financing for this movie.
Really?
Well, because he was still
Guy,
surprisingly,
the kids will come in droves to the theaters to see Van Johnson.
yes, there is all the Van Johnson fan base is there.
Don't you people understand?
Imagine one day on the set of Killer Crocodile, Van decided to have a big heaping bowl of chili. It had been a rough day and he was really hungry. But then 3 hours after lunch, it started kicking in horribly. And so it's
Only
like,
3 hours?
It's like, oh God, I have to go to this god-awful sweltering outhouse in the middle of this jungle hell. And he's sitting down, there's flies buzzing everywhere, and there's already that friggin' stench in the air that just smells like poop has been sitting there. And he's just trying to shove it out, and the sweat is dripping off him. And the sweat is making it hard for his butt cheeks to stay.
I gotta open the door. I'm sorry, everyone. I gotta get some air in here.
And so the jungle sweat is making his ass cheeks slide around on the toilet. So he keeps falling off and is just crunching a ball under one part of the lid because it slips like this. And because of that, when he stands up, the back part of his butt kind of squishes onto the thing and becomes smeared with poop. And when he gets up, he doesn't realize that part of it is smeared and he pulls on his pants. So he goes back to the shoot. And
It's white pants.
Dressed in white.
Yes, all white.
And then about 20 minutes later, people
Christ,
are like,
Van,
"Jesus
was that
Christ."
you? Just a mixture of sweat and corn nuts.
Wait, I found a way to kill the crocodile. Van Johnson, come over here.
Help! Falling! Help! Help!
So we have the Jesus Eyes guy.
He is Anthony Crenna, the son of Richard Crenna, the man who trained Rambo.
Okay.
I said RoboCop.
No, Rambo. And then you have a bunch of interchangeable guys.
Oh, there's that one annoying ass girl won't shut up.
Back off. Why should I? Don't you guys realize he's getting paid off by the bastards who are dumping the waste? There's radioactive waste in the swamps, and it didn't just suddenly grow there. It still has to be protected. We'll do everything we can to stop you.
And then half the movie they're just in the house now. They're
Yes.
like, oh, take care of the women. And then oh yeah, no, you don't have to go. You've done enough. Just stay here. Just it's fine. It's fine. And there's that one lesbian lady who's doing water samples, and she really doesn't really have serve a purpose. There's the other dude who's
Here's my business card. Lesbian that does water samples.
There's
Okay.
one guy who's driving the boat.
You collect them or you produce them? 'Cause it's...
Oh yeah, and there's the so they all go to Joe's house.
Oh right,
to stay
Joe,
for the night.
Jungle Joe.
Yeah. And he's got a giant boa constrictor.
Watch out, there's a snake!
Don't worry. That's Pilar. She lives here. Keeps the mice down better than a cat. Just don't pet her when she's hungry.
I don't know what kind of snake it is. But you never see him again. He's on the ledge when you walk up, and that's it. And then he's like, "Oh, you guys hungry?"
But what meat is this? If you're hungry, eat it. If you're gonna ask questions, put it back on the shelf.
And the guy's like, "Oh, what kind of meat is it?" And he's like, "Don't ask questions, just eat it." And like, what?
Which is what Van Johnson said every night.
But they pick it up and it's like floppy, like corn husk paper meat. I don't know if it's like iguana skin or something, but it's just like
it's not
it looks like snake. I thought it was gonna be snake skin.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Van, don't ask questions, just eat it, Johnson.
But it's really disgusting. But I mean, at that point, it's probably some.
Howdy, gentlemen. Pardon me, but this jungle heat has me all hot and bothered. If I just may loosen this knot on my ascot a bit before we continue this journey into the heart of darkness.
Hey, cool down.
You know, a thing that's there is there, and you can say what you want about it,
Yes.
but it's always interesting that the guy is standing on the crocodile. The crocodile is there.
And the best scene is at the beginning. Not Cornelia, Cecilia, whatever, gets killed by the crocodile.
Oh, Conchita.
Conchita. Oh, the dog.
Then well, she had a dog.
At least they didn't show it.
But this young lady goes looking for a dog, gets eaten by the crocodile, and the next morning they say, "Oh, have you seen Conchita?" No.
Don't worry, she'll turn up.
This swamp's no amusement park.
And then they go on the boat. Conchita.
Conchita! 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 Conchita!
And they completely forget about her until they find the body. Later
We
on.
were looking for this, right?
Yes. You would think that as friends or as colleagues, they would be a little more.
Yeah.
Oh, so that corpse kind of shoots straight up like it's a Disney Halloween ride.
Plus, why is the crocodile just biting and maiming and then leaving them to just float?
You know,
float
crocodile,
off?
they're always biting things.
You know, sharks are always biting things.
I know those are sharks.
There's no rhyme or reason. It's not hunting. It's not doesn't want to eat food. It's just attacking. Oh, so this thing is radioactive.
I think it's the radioactive waste that's responsible. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it was made. Right?
Yeah.
By the radiation.
Probably.
Right.
It's not very clear because they say it's a prehistoric or maybe it's
Dude,
radioactive.
I checked out 40 minutes in.
What did you say, girl?
You say 37 earlier.
There's like a few maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's not necessarily terrible, but you can't stick with it.
Yeah.
A lot of white people on a boat, like you said.
That's the picture of the movie.
That's the picture of Titanic.
Yes.
This Killer Croc or Titanic? Same pitch, boss.
Only one has eyes and the other one has a crocodile. Okay.
That does it.
The same director did both?
The second movie was directed in reality by Giannetto De Rossi, who's the guy who built the crocodile. And he said he had no interest whatsoever being a director.
L'operazione meno professionale della mia vita. Non ci tenevo onestamente a fare il regista, anche perché io ero un pessimo regista in quanto io facevo il pubblico, cioè io vedevo le scene come se fossi il pubblico, non come se fossi il regista. Quindi tutti gli sbagli che c'erano, anche io vedevo, diciamo, l'ho fatto perché, vabbè, forse per guadagnare qualcosa.
Why do you do it?
Money. He just says it blatantly. So they did. And
is 2 just as...
Yeah. Yeah. With more boat now. Now there are a couple of interesting shots that were trying things, but yeah, it's not particularly.
What's the problem then?
It's too risky
Come
for
on, come on.
Hey,
There
look,
you
no
go.
way.
Come
No
on.
way.
Drink up. Come on, Captain.
No, I can't help you.
Come on, one more time.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
You're not thinking of blowing up those barrels, are you?
Well, what the hell do you think we came out here for?
You'll pollute the entire swamp.
No kidding.
Wait, why did Paul Newman want to blow up the barrels?
The toxic waste barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the same thing that they wanted to do, that they did actually for real, off the shore of New Jersey when...
They loaded the radioactive waste, and it was in barrels, 55-gallon barrels of radioactive waste with concrete poured over it.
It's funny, the ocean don't glow out there outside of Red Bank, New Jersey. Really, because we dumped a lot of barrels out there.
That is true. We didn't just dump barrels of radioactive waste in the ocean, we did it off the coast of New Jersey. Not all of those barrels sank. In fact, in 1957, when 2 barrels were caught floating off the shore, naval aircraft were summoned to strafe them with machine gun fire until they sank. That's right. They shot barrels full of nuclear waste with machine guns.
So I guess that is taken from there, because I don't see any other particular explanation or reason for doing that.
Bullshit!
And the crocodile is one piece, and it shows because it doesn't move whatsoever.
You got a cute hand, isolated shots.
Yes, yes,
close-ups.
they have one.
Hey, come on.
I will say this, we get into that crocodile shot about 0.2 seconds into this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's nice at least.
How about that Viver logo at the beginning?
Oh, okay. We almost
That's the
missed
most-
talking
Oh,
about something was so... I meant to make a note of that. That was better than the movie was. The
Yeah.
logo of the company that did this,
Flavia.
Flavia, is one of the
Fiberica.
greatest, most coziest, old school, wonderful aesthetics. Like, it
So
was
dope.
stellar. It's actually better than the movie.
Yes.
Well, not saying much.
But it was great.
Yeah.
It started off on a high note, and sometimes you think maybe that's going to lead to the right type of movie.
No.
I know how you feel.
I mean, I think it's the old thing of the croc is cool, you don't, and it's not used sparsely, I would say, but you don't use it enough to be like, oh, this is going to be, you got this what is it? You said fiber?
It's cyber.
The actual croc, what is it?
Oh, it was metal and fiberglass and some foam of some sort.
I mean, I guess
the
they
inside
did
of the
use it
mouth.
a lot, but it feels like you need this to be, you're actually looking forward to watching this fiberglass croc kill for an hour and a half.
Oh, that's what I always say. Even if the monster looks like shit, just give me an hour of it. It's fine.
Hey, here's a question. How come...
Plus, they weren't trying to hide it or
How come they
disguise
never
it
do
at
that?
all.
Because
Well-
if what we're talking about is, we're talking about low budget, shooting 2 movies at once, a director that doesn't want to direct, I'm surprised that they never say, and if you talk about the Jaws philosophy, it almost makes more sense, because it's like, well, these are a lot of hack films just trying to double down on what they are. I'm very surprised, actually, that no one has ever been like, dude, just keep our cheap animal on, like, literally all 90 minutes the thing is showing. I'm not even advocating for it working, I'm saying... How in so many low-budget creature features, I know have been like, you know what we're going to do? We're leaning in. It's on every second, even in the name of poor judgment.
Yeah, it depends on how much faith they have in their creature
Hey, cool down.
to sustain a lot of screen presence. Because here, usually when you make a monster movie, and Jaws, for instance, was no exception, or probably was the one that started this trend. You have the hero monster, which is the one they use for close-ups and action with the actors. And then you have 2 or 3 other ones, like for instance, Jaws, there was 2 sides of the shark, so for the sideways, only the fin or something. Here they had 1 crocodile for everything. And since it wasn't very easily maneuverable...
Comunque si poteva fare molto meglio.
Wait, the shots where it's submerged and the shots where the mouth opens up, that's the same?
Yes,
Oh,
it's the same crocodile for everything.
Is that so?
That is also, it comes down to the budget and to the script, which if it gives you characters that you may or rather actors that can sustain certain parts, then you can use more monster and everything. If not, it's okay, just like stay there and it's fine.
I think it's also different. Like I keep thinking of the Mighty Gorga. No.
Yeah, the
Maybe.
puppets.
Whatever the puppet was fighting the gorilla suit. I can deal with that, and you can do a lot with that, at least at the fights. But a crocodile, like if you take shots of it, like swimming or moving around, like you got to get pretty creative with what you're doing with those shots.
Yeah.
Well,
you do want to have it for an hour.
My point was
or a
more
bunch of
that
scenes.
when some of these creature flicks are so bad, it's more just shocking that no one. It's always, for instance, it's always, no matter the budget, the vibe, the style, the studio, it's always the Jaws philosophy. It feels like it doesn't even come down to what does our creature look like or what is the money. It's always like, oh, well, what you do is you're sparse with it. I'm more saying in movies that are meccas of bad decisions, how come no one's been like, you get it every second? Like, it's never happened. It's like every movie's like, nope, Jaws philosophy, keep it hidden. And maybe
it's
that's
probably hell to work with, too.
Yeah, it just, but you know what I'm saying? It's
No,
more
I
just
mean,
weird
I
that no
was
one, like, hey,
trying to
you
make the
can
same
watch
point.
The Room, and it's Tommy speaking in a room for 60, 80 minutes because no one told him anything. It's just weird that no one's ever like, yeah, you just turn on, it's 95. The croc is never not in the shot. They just kept using it. Just seems strange that no one's ever leaned into that. I'm not even saying it would be cool or it was the right decision. I'm just saying in all the history of creature features, it seems like they always, maybe it's the fear, maybe they're trying, like we say, hey, even if it's a shitty movie, they care. And they're trying to use the philosophy, but like no one's ever leaned in.
There is always the philosophy of too much is too much sometimes. And I don't say that less is more. That always works. But it's very hard to strike a balance when you don't have the monster, you have enough story or enough characters that you root for to keep you company or entertained in between the attacks. The problem with the sci-fi movies is they have this formula.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Where every single segment in between commercials there has to be one fake attack, one real attack. 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 One fake attack, one real attack till they get to the end of the movie, where there is a final confrontation or whatever you want to call it.
Use the propeller, kid!
This follows a lot of the formula of Jaws, with the difference that in Jaws, you did care for all those characters. You were with them. You knew those characters. Some of them, you say, oh, this is the cop from my town or something. Here, you don't care about them.
How do you get the part?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't give a care about any single solitary person in here.
Get out of here.
With the exception of Van Johnson, just because you're disgusted.
But that's usually what happens. And also remember that when this movie came out, and all those movies were popping out in the late 70s, early 80s, for the rhythm we were used to, they were fine. There was plenty of crocodile ratio for what we were used to.
Richard Roper.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've got another Jason question now. What is the monster or creature movie with the most monster screen time? That's an interesting one, you know? There's got to be one that claims the most on-screen time. It's usually very low, but what could it be?
Kong GXK?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yes, it's just funny that objectively you would think that would feel that way, but as someone who watched it several times, I was still like, oh, here comes the exposition in Human Heavy second act.
You said that out loud?
And then the guy next to me was like, every time, man. Also, why do we keep ending? We don't know each other. We can't
Even the actors have started to say, do you shut up?
I ain't never seen anything like it.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Well, that's a monologue unto itself.
Who was?
About GXK having objectively the highest ratio. It doesn't feel like it. I just want to feel a movie where I just want to know what it's like. And maybe you're like, hey, we have a movie now and it doesn't work. So we have the proof. It's on film. It's over there, pointing there. But imagine if it's just that is what I envision with all that hype talk about GXK. Like, oh, we start off, it's Godzilla and Kong. We're with them for the entire adventure and we barely see any humans. But what you say and what this produces is never what is actually done. You promised me something and it wasn't what it was.
Don't you people understand?
But that's a good question. Let's put it out there to our audience of Paulo. What is the monster movie with the most monster time?
And what would have been of Jaws had the shark worked?
That's a great question because I think to that discussion you need to add that Jaws was originally being made to be a B movie and then almost mutated into the stellar example of a cinema that it is. So therefore, I'm asking myself, if Spielberg had gone into it with a B-movie sensibility, would we have gotten a kick-ass B-movie, albeit perhaps not what became a true, hey, what's movies, what's craft, what's good screenwriting, what's good character work? Maybe it would have been like, yo, Spielberg became like the big heartfelt blockbuster guy, but his first movie is just like 2 hours of a kick-ass mechanical shark chomping nonstop. So I won't go up against the philosophy of why it worked because Jaws is too damn good for that. I do wonder if you just put a different label on it. Oh, B-movie. Spielberg's getting a starting career with this. But lean into the B-movie. Maybe, you know, picture like 2 hours of the Alex Kittner scene. Again, I don't know.
Poor kid.
I'm a monster movie freak.
I hope they would just like kill him.
It's like Ace in the tank for 2 hours, just a shark dragging him back and forth. But it's a bloody dead kid. Wouldn't everyone like to see that?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Kittner, I'm that Kittner boy's mom. And you, Roy Scheider, are about to get a high heel straight up the poop chute, which is what Van Johnson said to the cast and crew every night before
eating chili.
He would eat chili. Oh God, Van, please. You know what the effect it has. Why do you? It's just tasty.
We're sharing a large room, Van, please.
Van, your character rapped 6 days ago. Why are you still on set eating chili?
God, breakfast, lunch, and dinner just blasting them.
All I had to do was look the other way.
Just crop dusting us in this hot-ass jungle. Well, I don't know how accurately we broke down Killer Croc for you guys, but I think Matthew should be happy because the pie graph of this episode would represent that the color most shown is Van Johnson poop joke. So you should be happy. You should finally be happy because this is what Matthew wanted to give to you guys. He doesn't want an actual discussion of the movie. He wants a crappy movie, and then we use that as a chance to just dig into some absurd
crap
stuff.
In this case.
And poop crap jokes. Crap jokes for a crappy movie. So Matthew's happy. Hopefully you guys are too. But Killer Crocodile, if you guys dug it at all, there is a sequel. Mateo's got the turn around. It's got it on the back. It's a double thing. Mateo, you've of course seen both.
Yeah.
Is it kind of just the same movie?
Yep.
Okay. So maybe you've seen it once, you've seen them all. But we're always happy to do a creature feature. And
it's like Taken, but with a crocodile. And without the phone and the kidnapping of the daughter. And
Liam Neeson in there, though.
Yes.
Well, what is
Neeson's
it?
still in there, though.
Was it the
yes,
Gray?
He is the crocodile.
The Gray where he's just beating the shit out of wolves? Do that with Crocs. I'd watch it. Liam's second career honeymoon starts punching CGI animals in the face. We know a little something about that.
That does it.
So guys, once again, thank you for coming on to our couch.
Let's express our feelings.
Oh, right, wow. I was like, this movie ain't getting that. Let's express
How many
our
episodes?
feelings. I was like, we don't need to. Let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper. And this one is the one that's confusing for me.
And the paper is this one here.
Matthew, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with a
5? 4.5, because there's a little bit of charm in there. You know, I just decided as I said it.
I'm going to go with the 4.5.
2, 3, 4, and let's do rip. I am
4.5 just because the crocodile looks cool. No other reason. No other reason.
Not even Van Johnson?
I'm gonna echo Matthew's 4.5 because I do think there's enough of charm and B-movie greatness to not give it the full 5. Again, pretty rough of a slog, but 4.5 because yeah, Matthew's right. The croc is cool, and there's a little bit of gold in there. Well,
And I go with 4 because of the same reason.
You got a soft
and
spot.
Van Johnson.
You got a soft spot for it.
Van Johnson's got a soft spot.
Van Johnson's got a real...
And he'll find your soft spot.
Van Johnson is all a soft spot.
40 minutes of Van Johnson rape jokes. That's why you come to this channel. And YouTube says, shove it down.
MaJaMa.
So guys, from our couch to yours, thanks for stopping by for another MaJaMa Jams. If you liked what you saw in Killer Croc, buy this and watch both. It's going to be like 800 minutes of crappy paper-mache croc action. What could be better than that? And we will see you next time for an all-new Jams. And this, as far as what this was a jam!
MaJaMa.
I was looking for you.
What's your problem?
For a few days, you're going to have to stop dumping your trash into that swamp. I'm sorry. What's the verdict?
That's crap. This place stinks.